What's up, my bearded bros? And in today's video, we have another section of game picks for the NBA. This time we're gonna be going over the weekend picks: Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 28th, 29th, and 30th. On my last picks, I was 10-7, a little over 500. Honestly, I would prefer to do better than that if I could. A couple of notes I want to hit on before I pick games is Davis. I was right about him not being stomped that well. Granted, I didn't think he'd hit 50 points and lose, but the fact that he did that on kind of doesn't surprise me because I know he's capable of it. Just I didn't think he would do it right away. And another thing is the Blake Griffin, Damian Lillard, Clippers, Trailblazers game. I was pretty proud of myself there because Lillard got pretty close to what I projected him at, and Griffin did end up getting around 20 something points and 12 rebounds because he got, I think, 13. So I was really happy about that. None of my bold predictions came true, but they were close. And I want to apologize to any Spurs fan watching this, if there are Spurs fans watching this, because that opening game against the Warriors taught me a valuable lesson, and don't underestimate the Spurs team, because just because they look a little different doesn't mean they're going to do any worse, because Jonathan Simmons, I believe his name is, showed me that Kawhi Leonard isn't the only superstar on that team. They got him, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Simmons, so it's going to be a good year for them. Definitely probably a better year than I projected for them originally, because originally I thought they'd struggle to get the 4 seed, but I think now they're going to be fighting for either the 2 seed or the 3 seed. They could. There's a chance, I think, not a really good chance, but over a 20% chance they get the number 1 seed. So we'll have to see how the whole season unfolds, because you'll never know. You never know with injuries. That's the hardest thing to predict, and the one thing you don't really want to try to predict. Anyway, for this week, there's 23 games, so I'm hoping to at least get 15-8. I want to improve my win percentage overall, I guess. So we're gonna start with the first game. It's gonna be the Cavs going to Toronto in a repeat of the Eastern Conference Finals last year. So I feel like there's gonna be some extra motivation for the Raptors. They're gonna play well. Now, can they shoot better than they did in the conference finals? That will remain to be seen until tonight at 7 o'clock on ESPN, unless you're watching it after today. And I think personally LeBron's gonna be LeBron. He might not score 20 like he did last time when he scored 19, but I feel like there's some serious triple double potential for him. Kyrie might pull a double double, and I feel like Love's obviously gonna pull a double double because I feel like he might get like 15 rebounds, 18 points. Like, that's where I think he'll get. LeBron, he's more unpredictable because you never know if he'll be more pass happy or more one man wrecking crew happy kind of day. But I think the Cavs are going to win 106-101. And I learned last week to be a little bit more generous with my points, because I predicted really conservative point wise. And I feel like in some of the matchups with the better teams, it cost me because I underestimated them a little bit too much. And yeah, I learned my lesson. Anyway, that's the first game. Cavs over Raptors, 106-101. Then the second game, I'm picking the Pacers over the Nets. Now, it's not because I'm disrespecting the Nets, because they are a bottom half team, I think. But I feel like Miles Turner showed me something in that game, that he has, I wouldn't say superstar potential, but he has possible sneaky all-star potential, kind of like Isaiah Thomas had last year when he snuck onto the all-star team. I feel like that could be Miles Turner this year. And Paul George played really solid. He got not quite the point prediction I had for him in the opener, but he came close, so I'm kind of happy with that. And I feel like this one isn't going to be as close as the Raptors Cavs just because I feel like one team's clearly better than the other. But who knows? The Nets might show me something. And I hope they do because I want good things for Brooklyn. I really do. They've not had a good run of it lately. But I'm going to be picking the Pacers 108-94. I feel like it's not going to be close throughout. I think it's going to be like a 20-something point lead throughout the game, and then at the end of the game, Indiana's going to rest starters, and Brooklyn's going to score a bunch of garbage points. So we'll see about that. Next, we have Magic Pistons, which it's a battle of attrition to me. Magic underperformed my expectations severely. Granted, they did compete, so that made me a little happy. Vucevic had like 9 rebounds in the first quarter, but then he disappeared on the boards after that, so I was kind of upset with that. And Gordon didn't do as well as I thought he would. Neither did Ibaka. I mean, Peyton did decent, but not good enough to win against better teams. The question is, are the Pistons a better team with Drummond? I'm not sure. So this might be my last like ditch effort to root for them. So I'm gonna pick Magic in a decently low scoring game, 97-95. Now I'll say this like I did in the Celtics Bulls game last time. Wouldn't surprise me if the Pistons won. Just like it didn't surprise me at all when the Bulls won. If I picked them, heck, I would have been 11-6. I would have been a lot better. But I didn't, so 10-7. But yeah, Magic in this one. Next is gonna be Suns Thunder. Devin Booker showed me a lot of potential. So did Dragon, or however you pronounce his name. I feel like I'm butchering it, so I apologize. But I feel like Russell Westbrook's still kind of like on revenge tour mode right now. He'll settle down soon, and I don't think Oladipo is gonna keep going 0 for 5 from 3. He's gonna start settling in pretty soon, and I hope he does. Other than that, Enes Kanter and Steven Adams, they'll learn how to adjust to their new starting roles a little better with no Ibaka and no Durant there. And it'll just be interesting to see it, but I think it's going to be clear Thunder, but I think the Suns might make it close, 104-100. Who knows? It could be a blowout. It's got blowout potential, but I just don't see it realizing it. And then next, you have the Hornets Heat. You have Hassan Whiteside, who proved me wrong and dominated the game against Kemba Walker and the Hornets. And the Hornets, they kind of surprised me too. They showed up a lot bigger than I thought they would. I feel like Whiteside's gonna do too much, and Winslow is still such a raw talent, but he's got that all-star potential too. So I think it's gonna be Heat 98-93. But Kemba Walker might go off for 25-30 points. It wouldn't surprise me at all. He's one of the better point guards in the league. I don't think he's really underrated. I just think he's one of the better ones. Then next, we have the disappointing Rockets, who, just like I said, couldn't defend for shit. I mean, they might be happy to get rid of Dwight Howard, but hey, at least he had 19 freaking rebounds last time. Beast mode, by the way. Harden, granted, went off for 17 assists, which is just freaking insane. He's not going to keep that pace. I feel like Dirk coming home and Barnes not putting in a solid performance last time. Like I said, it took time for him and Bogut to adjust. Bogut played horrible. Barnes played not the greatest, not even good, but not terrible. I mean, he had 19 points. So I think it's going to be Mavs because I don't think the Rockets can really stop anybody. And I think the Mavs have a good enough defense to contain Harden when they need to. I feel like it's still going to be a high scoring game, so I'm going to pick 112-107. Just because I don't think the Rockets are really going to hold anybody under 100 points this year. I mean, if you look at the long scope of the year, I feel like the Rockets might hold people under 100 points less than 10 times. I mean, that's That's where I see him going, and you're not gonna win 50 games doing that. So yeah, it's gonna be Mavericks. Then Lakers Jazz. It's interesting to see the young guys or the young guy talking about how this year it's their time to shine and how last year was all about Kobe because it seems like he's trying to start something or maybe trying to raise expectations or simmer them. I don't know what his approach was for that, but either way, I hope he learned his lesson not to really insult the person who comes before you. That'd be like if like Brady back in '01 just like shit talked Bledsoe as hard as he could, like, oh yeah, and it was Bledsoe, it was all about Bledsoe, but now it's the whole team's time to shine kind of thing. No, that doesn't happen. Nobody does that. No respectful athlete does that ever, because saying that makes it so it's all about you and not about the team. Even though you say it's about the team, it makes it all about you. But I don't know what the Jazz are at this point. Hayward's pretty good, but I feel like the Lakers might pull one out and win 101 to 100. It's going to be a close game. I don't know whose defense is going to show up. I don't think anybody can hold each other over 100, so it's probably going to be another 100-100 game at least. Might it go into overtime? Yeah, it's definitely got overtime potential, and if so, the points will definitely be a lot higher. But I'm picking Lakers on the road, knocking the Jazz down to 0-2, which isn't a death sentence in basketball so much as it is football. Next, we have one of the most interesting matchups of the week on the first day of the weekend. We have the Pelicans Warriors. Now, why is this interesting? There's a few reasons. Davis just lit it up for 50 points. There's no Barnes and Bogut to help cover Davis. So will they have Draymond Green on Davis most of the game? If so, Davis is probably going to be held under 30. But if not, Davis could light it up like he did in the last game. But just like in the last game, relying on Davis is not going to get it done. So I feel like it's going to be a high-scoring effort where the Warriors are still figuring themselves out on defense. So I feel like it's going to be Warriors over Pelicans getting their first one of the year. 115 to 108. I feel like it's going to be possibly the highest scoring game of the day Friday, if not for the Rockets game, because you never know. And then I don't know. I feel like Steph Curry has something to prove. Him and Durant didn't shoot the greatest. I mean, they still did pretty good, but they just overall they didn't shoot as good as they wanted to. Thompson was just awful, and he's got something to prove. And when Thompson plays with a chip on his shoulder, we all know what he's capable of. He's gone off for over 20 points in a quarter before, so we know he's capable of it. He might do it tonight, so that would be something to keep an eye on. Next, we have the first game Saturday. It's going to be an afternoon game, so I won't be able to watch that because I'll be away at work. But it's going to be Hawks Sixers. Now, before I know, I just wanted to say I made the mistake of talking about Simmons, not realizing he was injured because the 76ers are one of the only teams I don't pay attention to. But Embiid finally debuting after a 2-year wait. I don't know. I was impressed by how he started out, but to me he kind of fizzled out. And I feel like Dwight Howard and the Hawks are going to give him more trouble. I think it's going to be 101 to 91. I think the Sixers are going 0-2. Granted, I feel like they'll win soon. I just don't know who it's against, and I don't know if I'm going to pick them when they win either. So that's going to be interesting. Now, bias is coming up. Celtics, Hornets. I'm a big Celtics fan, obviously. I said that before when I picked them against the Bulls. That was the reason I picked them against the Bulls, and it kind of fudged me up. They're not playing the greatest defense in the world, and they're not gelling much on offense yet. So I feel like Kemba Walker is going to exploit that. And unless they switch Avery Bradley out on him when the Celtics are on defense, I don't feel like the Celtics stand much of a chance. So I feel like it's going to be The Hornets won 102 to 94. Because you saw, or if you watched the Celtics game last time against the Bulls, you saw them allow over 30 points in the first quarter. So if they start slow again, it's over. I mean, the Hornets aren't going to let up. Grizzlies Knicks. Now that's going to be one of the most interesting ones too, because I didn't think the Grizzlies would take it from Minnesota, and I knew the Knicks would lose, but they played a lot better than I thought. Granted, the score was kind of far away, like I thought was kind of close-ish, like I thought it would be, and the performance really didn't show how dominating it was. I mean, LeBron could have went off for 35 in that game and made it like a 30-point game. So it was kind of like I said, but it's still not. I feel like it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be sneaky, and I feel like the Knicks, being at home, will win this one. But knowing the Knicks, they'll probably be the Knicks and lose. So probably gonna regret picking them. So I think it's gonna be Knicks over Grizzlies, 99 to 91. I think Porzingis, hopefully. Now listen to me, Porzingis. I know you're not watching this, but pretend you are. I hope you go off for a double-double. Not too high scoring-wise, but probably 13 points, 11 boards. Something solid that'll help the team. That's all I want. Rose might go off for a double-double, but that dude don't pass the ball for shit. I mean, he's a point guard, but he's just a scoring guard, in my opinion. He doesn't point fucking shit. Carmelo's probably going to be trying to be raining threes again, and we all know how that goes. But I think Joakim Noah is going to help him on defense, so I feel like the Knicks can win. And then you have, to me, a game that's going to make my NBA career character cry if he watched it. It's going to be the Magic Cavs. I feel like this is going to slip the Magic to possibly 0-3, which is going to suck for a young team because that might deflate their ego a little bit. But I feel like the Cavs are going to be too much for them. I feel like Love's obviously going to get the double-double on the boards. I feel like Kyrie might go off for 25 to 30 points. I feel like LeBron might go triple-double here. I don't think he'll get the assist, so he might get the board double-double too. He might actually get a triple-double with steals because his hands are going to be effective against that young backcourt of the Magic. So we'll see. I'm picking the Cavs 125 to 103. It's going to be at least a 20-point game in my opinion, and I hope it is. Then you have the Pacers Bulls. Now this matchup has me excited. It really does. Rajon Rondo, Dwayne Wade, Jimmy Butler, all mid-range people playing on the same court at the same time. It's going to be interesting to see if that continues to work against Paul George. But it's one of the better matchups of the weekend, I think, 1v1 wise. Paul George versus Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's got mad defensive potential, and Paul George is a superstar. He proved that in the last game. He proves that every year. But I think people doubt him too much because of that injury. I feel like it's going to be Bulls, though. I feel like Dwayne Wade is going to go off for 20 again. I feel like Rajon Rondo is going to return to his assist form that he had with the Celtics where he averaged double-digit assists. I feel like he's going to get a double-double, more assists than points. So I feel like it might be like 12 points, 15 assists or something like that. And then I feel like Jimmy Butler is going to be working the boards a lot, getting a couple blocks. So I feel like he might finish with 3 blocks, 11 rebounds, and over 25 points. Let's see if Paul George can play defense on him, because if Paul George can play defense on him, he'll hold Butler to probably under 20. But we'll see. I'm picking Bulls. Next, it's the disappointing Nets versus the very, very disappointing Bucks. I thought the Greek Freak would step it up, but I think I overestimated him a little bit. But I do feel like the Bucks will pull it off now that they're at home. And if not, then I don't know. I don't know what I would do if I was them, because they got a lot of young talent, but they're like the poor man's Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean, you see potential there, but is it enough? I'm not sure. But I'll pick the Bucks in a low-scoring game. Both teams under 100, maybe 98, 94. Who knows? Anyway, next you got the you got a couple of good matchups, I think, in the sense that you have the superstar Anthony Davis versus Kawhi Leonard in the Spurs. I feel like again the Pelicans will fail Davis. He'll go off for probably 30 points in this game. But where Spurs are a good defensive team, I'm not sure if he will. I can see him not doing it easily. I feel like he might get a few blocks, might get a double double rebound wise. And I think it's gonna be Spurs handedly. It's gonna be like 116 versus or 116 299 or something like that. Because I know Greg Popovich, once he gets too high of a lead, he's gonna start resting his stars a little more. So I feel like the Pelicans might come back a little bit. Then you got Trailblazers Nuggets. I think Damian Lillard's gonna show everyone that the last game that they lost was either due to poor officiating or that they didn't deserve to lose. And I like when he plays with that chip on his shoulder because last time he did that I remember, he went off for over 50 against Golden State with Harrison Barnes and Andrew Bogut in them. Well, then against Steph Curry, he sucks on defense too. So I feel like it's going to be Trailblazers destroying the Nuggets at home, 133 to 101. Now, is it going to be a 30-point game? I don't think so, but that's just how I see it rolling because you never know. Lillard goes off, and he goes off big. He doesn't just go off a little, he goes off huge. And next, Timberwolves Kings, Karl Anthony Towns disappointed a little bit. Andrew Wiggins disappointed a little bit. They played a tough Grizzlies team, and they just failed. And now they face DeMarcus Cousins and the Kings. I feel like the Timberwolves will be a little bit too much, even though they still got some growing to do. That could bite them in the ass in this one. I'm going to pick Timberwolves again, so they better not let me down this time. I think it's going to be 103 to 102. Again, one of those games where it's a toss-up to me, so I'm not going to make the score ridiculously huge and then get it wrong and then look like an ass, because that would be just fucking ridiculous. Next, we have the Clippers, who proved to me they are who we thought they are. Blake Griffin did, in my opinion, amazing. I mean, he shot under 50% because he forced some shots, but he played really good. I mean, I was watching it in the third quarter, and DeAndre had, I think, 5 points and almost double-digit rebounds, and I'm like, they need to get him more involved on the offense. There's no way it can be the third quarter, and DeAndre can only have 5 points. If they keep that going, the Jazz will win. Because Chris Paul only had 5 assists, and that's not the Clippers team that got into the playoffs the last couple of years. So I feel like they'll snap back into form, maybe 106 to 100. I feel like the Jazz still need to figure some stuff out, but they're one of those sneaky, maybe 6th, 7th to 8th seeds, or maybe on the outside looking in. They're right around that area to me. And then next we have the Warriors, who are going to dominate the Suns, and they're going to win by over 40 points. That's my bold prediction of the week. The Warriors will beat the Suns by over 40 points on the eve of Halloween. It's gonna be scary for the Suns if you're the Suns fan. Then we have the Spurs Heat. I feel like the Spurs are gonna be on a goddamn roll. Like I said before, with Simmons, Kawhi, and LaMarcus Aldridge. LaMarcus Aldridge didn't perform as well as he could have in that opener, but I think he'll bounce back a little bit, and Kawhi is just going to keep going off, going to keep getting blocks, steals. He might actually, I feel like this year he might have a good chance of pulling off a quadruple double, and when I say that, I'm talking about points, rebounds, steals, and blocks. He's got the hands for it. Now, I'm kind of just waiting in anticipation to see if he makes it happen, and I hope he does. I hope he does. Then we have the Bucks Pistons. Now, like I said before, I don't trust the Bucks enough that when they face a good team like this, that they'll do it. So I'm picking Pistons. I think Andre Drummond's going to go off for a double-double. He's probably going to go off for 25-15 at least. And the Pistons will hold the Bucks to maybe under 90 points. I feel like it might be 101 to 89. I don't think the Bucks will make it as close as they could because they're still figuring shit out, and it's gonna bite them in the ass. I've been saying that a lot. A lot of this shit's gonna bite everyone in the ass. It's gonna be a lot of ass biting. They're gonna fucking pull down the shorts in the locker room, and there's gonna be a bunch of teeth marks. And it's not gonna be the vampire teeth marks that the Halloween brings ya. Then it's gonna be one of the most interesting matchups of Sunday. I think you have the young Lakers team. They got D'Angelo Russell, who's doing really good. They got Ingram, who's playing off the bench, but will he start this Sunday? Who knows? He did prove himself a little bit in the limited minutes he got, so I'm hoping they give him a chance. I mean, better sooner than later, especially when you're the Lakers. And you got the Thunder, again, Steven Adams and his Cantor. Can Mozgov match up well enough against them? We'll see. I mean, he didn't do too bad when he was with the Cavs, but he had a greater supporting cast, so that'd be interesting. Can D'Angelo and them contain Westbrook, or can they just not contain him enough to the point to where Westbrook makes too many mistakes? Now, this is my upset pick of the video. It's going to be Lakers over the Thunder by over 10 points. Granted, I don't know what it's going to be, so I'm going to go 105 to 95, just as a random number thrown out there. I feel like that's my upset pick, even though I feel like the Thunder are going to be greatly favored in that, just because of the 17-win Lakers coming into town, blah, 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 stuff like that. But hey, they're undefeated, so why not? Then the last two games, they're both going to be close in my opinion. You have the Wizards, Grizzlies, and then the Mavericks, Rockets. I feel like with these, John Wall is going to show why he's one of the better point guards in the league. And it's going to be decently low scoring. I think it's going to be 99 to 91. Bradley Beal cannot be contained for too long, so he might rip off 25 points too. Who knows? So I'm picking the Wizards on the road, taking on the Grizzlies. Ooh, bold, right? I know. And last game, Mavericks Rockets. Now this one's for me. For me, it's hard to pick because Barnes played decent, but I don't know what the Mavs' identity is in the sense that are they mostly three-pointers? Are they even an offensive team? Are they a defensive team, or are they slow-paced, fast-paced? Because you can be a fast-paced defensive team. That's hard to pull off, but you can be. And I do see that being a potential for them, mainly because they have Dirk, who can hit it from anywhere, still, no matter how old he is. But you have Bogut, who I think, hopefully he steps up, because they're going to need him in this game to help contain Harden in the paint. They're going to need Bogut to pull off a double-double at least. At least. So, if he doesn't get a double-double, the Rockets will win. Harden, in this game, probably won't get double-digit assists. But I feel like he's going to attempt 25-30 shots. I feel like he's going to put up 41 to 45 points. And I feel like the Rockets are going to be too much to the Mavs. As good as they are on defense, I feel like it's going to be... what's a good projection? 124 to 106. I feel like the Rockets, like I said before, and I say every game when I talk about them, they're not good enough on defense to stop anybody from getting over 100. This is not one of the games I see him holding someone under 100. Because like I said, I can maybe only see him doing that 10 times this season, and this is not one of them. And also, before I end this video, I wanted to say, guys, that Anthony Davis, if he plays like he did Friday, he will not get disrespected anymore. He will be possibly the clear MVP, because it is obvious at this point, guys, so obvious at this point in the season, even though it's only one game, that if it wasn't for Davis, when he was healthy the last couple of years, the Pelicans would be possibly the worst team in the NBA. And I mean that in the sense that, okay, I like the Pelicans, but the current GM, what? The only draft picks he currently has from the last few years on the roster is Buddy Hield and Anthony Davis? I mean, come on. You're not picking horrible, you're just making horrible deals. I mean, it's not like the talent you've picked was terrible. It's just, I guess it didn't work out. But they would be worse than the Sixers if they did not have Davis. And I hope Hield progresses. But I feel like until he does, Anthony Davis, clear #1 MVP candidate. If you say anybody else, I'll smack you in the face. Because that's just how it is. Anyway, if you like this button, if you agree with any of the picks, if you disagree with any of the picks, comment down below. Don't forget to smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe for future game day picks. And the next video should come out early Halloween morning with the next picks for the 31st, 1st, and possibly the 2nd too. We'll see. Depends on how much time I have. Because I like to study for these things a little bit. I like to know what I'm talking about, as wrong as I am. And I'll put my record down below in the description. If you want to keep track of it, it will be down there every time. And who knows, maybe one of these days we'll get an NBA game that goes into like sextuple overtime and ends in a tie. One of those exciting thrillers that don't end on missed field goals. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.